It was one of the best, if not the best, miniseries in television history, and still to this day, a phenomenal piece of art to watch in its entirety. If you can watch all of the episodes of this miniseries, I highly recommend you do so.
If you were alive in the 70s and were at least old and aware enough to voluntarily watch TV, then more than likely you saw Roots. I was about 8 or 9 when it aired, and it really was unlike anything any of us had ever seen on regular TV before. It felt like almost every major star at the time was part of a huge cast. But being only a kid at the time, the three that stood out for me in the cast were John Amos, Robert Reed, and Sandy Duncan. John Amos because, like most everyone else, I knew him from Good Times.
Amen.
James, the strong, larger-than-life dad. So to see him in a role that totally clashed with his image on Good Times was really weird for me. Powerless and Subservient. Similar feeling when I saw Richard Roundtree Shaft later in the series. Then Robert Reed. Mike Brady. I could not reconcile the calm and reasonable Mike Brady with the crotchety old slave owner he portrayed. And to my 8-year-old mind at the time, it almost felt something like a betrayal. And Sandy Duncan. Sandy Duncan was a fixture of 70s TV. As far as I remember, she was typically seen on game shows, talk shows, and variety shows. I remember she was known for two things, her perky, upbeat image and her eye. So if you recall, she portrayed the spoiled rich girl who was Robert Reed's niece, who was childhood friends with Kizzy, played by Leslie Uggams. And when her character became old enough and self-aware enough of her social status, especially compared to Kizzy, she straight up turned evil.
Well, legal is, it's just the law. Black people are slaves and white people own them. That's just the way it is.
And seeing that, how she treated Kizzy, that left a little scar for me. Again, because this wasn't the Sandy Duncan that I knew. I'm sure had I watched this, if I were maybe about 10 years older at the time, I would have had the maturity to put it all into perspective. As we've known for years now, Roots author Alex Haley was sued for plagiarism by author Harold Corlander. But that aside, Roots, the TV series, was groundbreaking and very gripping TV. And by the way, where is Sandy Duncan?
Now, I didn't watch it when it was first on TV. I didn't get a chance to watch it until much later on. I also grew up around a lot of very racist folks that I remember hearing them talk about the TV show, and hearing them talk about how the country went to hell ever since we gave them rights and freedom and all of that stuff. And so I grew up in a very different background when it came to that TV show. But when I got older and had an opportunity to watch that miniseries, I should say. But when I got older and had a chance to watch it, wow. Not only is it one of the most powerful miniseries you're ever going to see, star-studded, I mean, through and through, just an absolutely who's who of cast. But as Rickenbacker rightly points out, and I really, I always focused on what the story was and what good acting there was. I didn't really put together these things until I saw his video about how the people that you see in this miniseries are often known for roles that are opposite of what they're seen doing in this miniseries. If you haven't seen Roots, listen, they did a secondary Roots that is okay. The original Roots, if you can watch it from the beginning, from Kunta Kinte's birth, all the way through the last episode of that first miniseries, do yourself a favor and watch it. Probably the best miniseries ever made.